straight to our hotel room. We're only like 10 minutes from where we're going to be hunting in the morning. So we left Washington at 3 this morning. Just got here. Just JB welding my glasses together because I broke them my last trip and I'm blind without them. But there's about 4 inches of snow at the hotel. There's probably 12 or 18 up where we'll be hunting, but hopefully we can find some cows in the morning and try to get Cody his first elk. Well, we got up this morning and the main gate to get in was closed. For some reason the visitor center is also closed. I tried going around one way right here as far as we're going to make it. There's some big drifts right there. You can see right off this highway, it's knee-deep snow, so we're going to turn around. Everybody should be open, so we start calling to figure out why the gate's shut. Hopefully get into our spot. Alright, we drove back around to that gate since we got stuck at that drift. Saw a few nice bulls down the highway, but they opened up the first gate, which let us drive like, I don't know, 3 or 4 miles up. It's just miles that we don't have to hike. So now we got like a mile to where we get in to the area that we've seen elk before. So it's super late. It's like 10 o'clock, but we'll be up here till dark. See if we can find some cow elks. We crossed Plan A off the list. We hiked in here and there's 0 tracks. Snow's almost waist deep, knee deep everywhere, waist deep in some spots. And we got to a spot where my buddy was at a couple weeks ago. There was just elk tracks and trails everywhere through the snow. Like unmistakable, and it's 0 now, so we think they went down lower. We saw a couple groups right off the highway on some private public border there, so we're gonna see if we can find them a little bit lower and get down out of this deep snow at least. When she steps out, go ahead, shoot her. We decided to go back down to the BLM where we'd spotted the elk crossing the highway. We made it 300 yards or so off of the road when we spotted this herd of elk. They were within 100 yards or so, and Cody was getting ready to try to shoot freehand, and I had my big tripod that I wanted to get out and get set up for him. We had a little back and forth here, and in the long run we missed the opportunity and ended up bumping these elk into a group of other hunters. It didn't work out for us, but it was a pretty frustrating situation for Cody. We had a real easy chance. The elk were about 80 yards away, and we ended up blowing it. All right, it's day 2. We're on this big chunk of BLM where you can glass down below you. There's a big chunk in the middle of the unit, a couple access points. We've hit some pretty big glassing notes this morning. I haven't seen any elk. Kind of our first guess to where they'd be for not being way up high. Or not being up higher. But so far the only elk we've seen were the ones we bumped yesterday, and we bumped them right into some other hunters that basically slaughtered the herd. I think there was 8 or 6, and there was 2 left, and they ran a long ways. So we're going to keep hitting all the glass and knobs up here, and if we don't see any elk, we'll come up with a different plan for the morning. Or for tonight, not the morning. For the evening, yeah. We just spotted a bedded bull by himself. A little one though, so we're hoping maybe there's some cows with him. We ran up to the next little point so we can glass back down on where he was. He's the only elk we could see. I'd be surprised if a bull that little was solo and not bachelored up at a minimum, so hopefully he's got a couple groups of cows, or a little group of cows with him. So there's that bull. You see the back of him there. We looped around, followed his tracks out, and he's solo, which sucks, but we'll keep looking. It's kind of a bummer that we came later than normal thinking it'd get better, and it definitely just got harder, but we'll have this unit really figured out after this trip. We got all the data on the side up in the mountains, and now we're getting some info down low, but all right, time to go find some cows. All right, tell them what we got going on.
We got a small herd, some cows, and looks like a spike over on a ridge 1,600 yards away. Trying to make a game plan on what we're gonna do. Going down the finger of the ridge is probably a mile, Casey thinks, but driving this road below them and coming right up, the only spot in the sheer faces of the cliffs is right in their face. So we're gonna drive down here and see if the tracks that we were on work out, because I don't think those were the elk. So we're gonna check it out and come back and do one last check-in and see if the cow that we can see is still bedded facing us, and make a move.
Yep. The first elk we spotted once we got down there was this big broken off 6-point. I had Cody set up at about 250 yards away from him. I decided to loop closer to see if I can get eyes on the cows. After realizing this wasn't going to happen, I came back to Cody and we decided to sit there and wait the elk out. There's Cody's setup. He just said the bull's gone though, so better go look that up. Shoot him. You tell me you got the scope. Hold on. They're all cows. Shoot one. Which one you gonna shoot? Do that one tree and on the bush. Okay, scoot back over here. Time out. Scoot over here. They're right there. Can you see them? Listen. Shoot it if it looks good. Shoot again. She's running towards us. Hold on. I don't know which one she is.
I don't know which one she is now.
Just wait.
Nope,
She's the one.
I stacked her.
She's the one following down.
It's a fuck. Goddamn,
Dude.
I shot a fawn.
No, you didn't. It's fine.
She's down. Super pumped, dude. There was 2 cows in there.
It don't matter, dude. We fucking did it.
Fuck, dude, we were sitting there bird dogging that one, and they were on the ridge behind him.
It's a, yeah.
Fuck!
I could.
What a trip!
They were on the same ridge, they're just further to the left.
That's what I'm saying. They were behind him. But I thought they were on the front edge.
It ain't one of like the lead cows, but it's a good enough cow, dude. Don't worry about it.
It's not a calf.
There ain't no calves this time of year. They're all at least a year old or close to a year old.
Alrighty.
It'd be like shooting a spike. You'd shoot a spike every day of the week.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. You don't know what that means to me. My life just changed.
I need to show you like you were getting all frustrated yesterday, you know? I need to show you like the game plan of what we did, right? Because if I could show you on a map and cross out the places we checked,
it would look normal to me.
You'd be like, oh shit, that's what you do. Because you gotta think, all we were doing is we were running around to all the spots where I normally hunt, but there's fucking 3 feet of snow. We're just crossing them off. Wherever we looked today that there was an elk, and yesterday, I just crossed them off the map, right? And what we found is the elk are all close to that. We had the highway out there where we screwed up the cows,
yeah.
Right? And we got a highway right here. They're all around the edge of this gigantic BLM. That's it, dude. They're right around it. What'd you think of the setup there, huh?
That's intent. Dad, I did it. I did it. I shot a elk. I got a cow. Right? I love you, Dad. Thank you for getting me into all this shit. I wish you'd have been able to be out here, but I want you to know I appreciate it. So we started a mile and a half up on that ridge. And Casey saw some tracks that zigzagged across, and so we drove a little bit past it and got out on this finger, and Casey was glassing the hillside, and I'll be honest, my glass isn't too well, so I was kind of glassing the shorter junipers, and they were perfectly silhouetted walking across, and it only took about 5 minutes for them to bed, and we watched them bed, and Casey put together a game plan. We had a couple options on how to get into them, but now that there's an elk on the ground, I'm obviously pumped with the one that we chose. Some trucks were driving around below us, and it got the bull's head, headed and pointed in the right direction, and we were watching them, and Casey swung all the way around the right side of this point, 2 different fingers, and tried to get an eye on them, and I thought that's where they were, was off to the right, and he swung off back to the left and came around and told me to get the gun, that they were on the same ridge but behind the bull, and there wasn't any junipers, and the bull got up as soon as Casey told me that, and we moved the gun to the left side of the juniper bush. I was right here, and there was 4 cows milling, and the one I wanted was the lead one, and she got back behind some junipers, and there was plenty good enough cow for me sitting out in the open and wouldn't move, so I thumped it. I'm shaking.
Yeah. 230 yards.
230 yards.
I knew it would be an issue. We didn't bring Cody's gun. I knew it'd be an issue hunting this unit, not being able to get prone because of the sagebrush and junipers everywhere. So I brought the big tripod. It's a 2 vets that I use for shooting competitions. And it's an Arca, which the Element 4.0 has a rail on the bottom, so we just clamped it in. Super steady. As long as you're not moving, you can lock that thing into where if you touch your trigger, you're hitting what you're aiming at. So Cody's never shot off anything like that before and hammered this cow. So we're gonna walk up there and check it out now.
My old man once told me the only thing in the woods the color of an elk's butt is an elk's butt. It's way true in Colorado in the snow. bit smaller than I would have liked, but it's meat for sure.
Oh, that's a full-size cow, dude.
Is it?
It's not like the lead cow, but it's not a calf.
Oh, right on. I thought that was
It's not super small.
cool.
All right, we're making it official. Cody's punching his first tag ever.
Ever.
Get a couple pictures. All right, we got Cody's first elk. He's back there getting started on cutting her up. I'm gonna hike back up to the truck. Got like a mile and a half and 1,000 feet of elevation to gain probably. And then drive it around to the bottom. Should be able to get like, I don't know, 500 or 600 yards from the cow. It's just we'll have to go straight up and over this bluff she's up on. But super cool. This season I've been trying to get a bunch of my buddies their first animals. Hasn't worked out yet until now. Maybe I'll put some clips in this, but first buddy I went to, Montana, archery, walked in on a herd of elk at like 45 yards opening, or the first morning we were there, and he shoots underneath her, and we couldn't get back on him again that trip. And then took another buddy to Wyoming for a rifle hunt. We walked into a herd of elk at 250. He's never shot anything but prone. The snow was too deep and sagebrush, so we put him on my backpack and waited for an opening. It was like 15 minutes before they cleared each other. He shot over, and then I ended up shooting a cow the next day, like 600 yards. The deal with him was 300 or 400 and in. And then we bailed. He had enough of hiking up that, and I mean, I don't blame him, so did I. And then this trip, first day we get here, we stumbled on some elk at 160, and you know, a little bit of miscommunication either way. Cody just didn't pull the trigger. Partly my fault, but I was thinking, here we go again. Right away, you get a chance, and it's the only chance. And today we went up on a glassing knob and just hit glassing knob after knob. I think we went to like 4 or 5 of them. Finally spotted these elk way out here on this bluff. Basically that's the end of a bluff that's a mile and a half, 2 miles long. And we spotted them. They were bedded. We moved in. I only could see the bull. I kept looping around from where I had Cody set up and trying to see some cows, and I couldn't. And finally I was like, I think I see some movement. So I backed up to where we set up the first time, and I walk over there and there's a cow standing broadside at 300. So I came back up to Cody. He's 100 yards closer. Had him move to the other side of the tree, and the cows were funneling out. He ended up making a perfect shot at 230. I learned from the incident with my buddy Cameron. He missed it 240 off the backpack, and I brought the heavy tripod this trip, which, I mean, you can shoot standing, you know, easily out to 300 yards, easily, with no practice. So, and Cody showed that. I mean, he hammered that elk at 230, and Cody's probably the guy that gets more pumped and more nervous than anybody I know. And you know, he made that shot no problem. So anyways, I'm gonna get going up this ridge. Glad I finally got to get somebody their first elk this year, or the first animal this year. Hopefully I'll be back in time to help him cut that up a little bit, and we'll be back on the road to Washington tomorrow. Take the rest of my little winter break I get and hang out with the family. All right, I'm almost at the truck. I want to show you guys what we have for a setup. We spotted the elk from here, and they are at the very end of that ridge right there. We made a play all the way down the ridgeline, and I got to the 230 yards that he shot him at. From that point, it was 1,600 yards. So, pretty good stock. especially for a rifle hunt. I mean, I got to within 160 but couldn't see the cows. Just trying to get an angle to find him to get Cody on him. But all right, let's get up there and go meet him. All right, we're packing out, and like normal, I always have to try to one trip everything, so we just quartered it. We're fairly close to the truck. We're gonna drop like 300 feet right on the other side of this hill. So Cody's got a rear quarter and the head in his pack, and then the front quarter right there, dragging it. I got a rear quarter and all the boned out meat in the bag, and then dragging the front quarter. So should be down to the truck in like 10 minutes.